Welcome to the 100% restoration and remodel of my great-great-grandfather's $7,000 mansion. So for today's project, we are going to be working down in the basement and we are going to be digging a new footing underneath the foundation wall. On typical modern basement constructions, we have the foundation wall, which is literally the wall that if I'm standing in the basement, I'd be looking at the concrete walls. And then underneath of that, we have a hidden thing called a footer. And that helps spread the load out that this wall is carrying, so that way it's not just on one tiny little spot. It's basically like the snowshoe for the wall. Now the problem is in this house, we don't even have a footer. There is literally nothing there. It just sits right on top of the soil. Since we don't have a footer, we have to do something called underpinning, which is literally just taking the basement and then we measure out 3 feet. So from here to here is 3 feet, and then we mark it off in sections. So this is section number 1, this is section number 2, section 3, and section 4. And we have to dig a footer underneath of each section. So here's the way the process works. We come in underneath of one of the sections and then we dig out all of the soil underneath of it. Once our soil is gone, we need to come in and lay rebar. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pound some into section number 2, into the soil underneath of it, because we want to tie this entire footer together. Once we have that rebar laid inside of there, we will simply make a rebar cage under section number 1, and then we will come in and pour concrete. Once we have this entire cavity filled up, then we are simply ready to move on to section number 2. And we will come in and we will dig everything out. And then now remember the rebar that we pounded into it already? Well, that's already there. And this concrete is holding it in place. So it's gonna tie everything together. Then we will come and put more rebar connected into section number 3. And then we will make our rebar cage connected together. And then we'll pour more concrete. And then all of a sudden we have section number 2 done. So this is actually where we currently are in the basement. So today we are going to be working on section number 3. So we are going to be digging out our soil, exposing the rebar that we laid in. We're going to be laying new rebar going into section number 4, finishing out our cage. And then if all goes well, we will be able to pour concrete and get everything filled up. And we will have section number 3 done. Now Roman's gonna get started digging down in the basement. I need to run into town quick because we rented this concrete mixer yesterday and we rented this vibrator yesterday, and I need to go bring those back so that way I don't get charged for another day of rental. And on our drive in this morning, I just want to give a second to talk about this pickup right here. Just listen right now. You hear that? No, you don't, because this thing's quiet. Shout out to Sid Dillon in Blair, Nebraska for selling me this. This is a Chevy 2500. This is I don't even know what year it is, 2023 or 2024, but I like it. Thank you, Sid Dillon. And here we are. Welcome to the rental store. Holy cow, I've never seen a Red Bull truck before. That thing looks like an armored tank. We just paid in at the rental store and we got everything returned back. Everything looks nice. While I'm here, I noticed they got some mini excavators, and those ones are definitely way too big for what we're gonna be doing, but we are going to be ripping out the floor in the basement at some point, and we need to lower down the dirt level in there so that way we can get all of our insulation in and all of our plumbing stuff underneath and whatnot. And so that is gonna be a lot of digging with a shovel. So I was looking at these little guys right here. This bucket's only like a foot wide on it, but look how narrow of a stance that guy can go. This is 29.5 inches wide, so it can literally drive through a doorway. We can fold down that rollover protection system on top and be able to drive through. So we're really contemplating chopping a hole in the side of the basement wall at some point and then build a little ramp down there. Then we can get this in there, and this would turn our excavation job of ripping up the concrete in the basement floor and getting rid of all that extra dirt into a day job versus a week job by hand. So, I just wanted to come actually see these things. They look a lot different than seeing them on the computer. Now that's nothing we're gonna be getting to today, but I just wanna be kind of planning the cards ahead of time so that way when we get there, we're already prepared and have things lined up. Versus, hey, we start a project and then we try to figure out all the details, and everyone's kind of annoyed at you because you're behind and there's a lot of sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So we're gonna try to twiddle our thumbs as little as possible. But now I'm going to head back home and I am going to help Roman dig in the basement. If you're not familiar or just need a recap, right now we are in the middle of the basement project. We wanted to put in a perimeter drain around the basement so that way we could prevent any groundwater from being able to come up through the bottom of the floor. Upon start of that project, we discovered we did not have a footer underneath of the foundation walls. So, before we could put the drain in, we needed to embark on a journey of installing footers underneath of an existing foundation. We'll come over here to Roman's hole. As we can see, underneath of the foundation wall there is absolutely no footer. So what we did is we got started digging. We dug 3 feet wide, 12 inches out, and then all the way underneath of the wall to the back side. And then we installed rebar. And then after carrying about 1 million bags of concrete down into the basement, we got everything mixed together, and then we poured some of the slabs. Now, in order for us to not collapse the existing foundation walls, we had to do this in 3 different parts. As we can see by the different colors of concrete, this was pour number 1, and we did pour number 1 there, we did pour number 1 there, and we did pour number 1 there. Then, we excavated more soil, put in more rebar, poured more concrete, poured number 2. So we got a pour number 2 there, we got a pour number 2 there, and then as we can see, between pour number 1, between pour number 2, now we have soil. Pour number 3 is going to be going right there. Pour number 3 is going to be going right there. So not only do we have that room over there, we have the entire rest of the basement behind me to do our pour number 3 on. So that is what we're going to be working on today. We are going to be getting all the soil that is going to be in the pour number 3s. We're going to dig that all out. We're going to get rebar installed, and we're going to get everything 100% ready and prepped for concrete. Now that I'm looking at things a little bit, I think that this particular corner, it's got a little bump out in the walls. You can see by the angles behind me. I might actually have a pour 3 and a pour 4 right here in this tiny little area. Just because of how this wall is supported, I want to make sure that we have a footer underneath of it before we pull too much of the soil underneath, because I do not want this corner to collapse out. I don't think that this particular back wall is tied in with this one. I think they poured that one, then they poured that one, then they poured that one, and I don't know if there's any rebar connecting everything in between. I would honestly be sort of surprised if there was, because back in the early 1900s, I don't really think they used rebar. So I'm gonna have a little bit of a weird dig right here. I think I'm going to go from that existing concrete and I'm gonna dig into like here. So we're gonna have like 18 inches right there we're gonna dig out. And then we will have soil from right here through this bend to probably like right here. So then we're gonna have another 18 inches we're gonna dig out. So we're gonna take out 18, leave 18, take out 18. I wanna make sure those corners are held up, because like I said, I don't know if there's any rebar in between them or not, and if there's not, we take out the soil underneath of that, we could get a little collapse here on this wall or get this to settle, which is what we don't want. So if we do the take out 18, pour concrete in there, leave 18 of soil in the middle, take out 18, pour concrete there, then while that's setting up, and once it gets set up, then we can take everything out in the middle, because that new footer that we just poured, the new 18 inches of footer on both sides, that will be enough to at least keep this supported where it's not going to collapse out while we take out the center 18 and pour concrete in there. So we're probably gonna have a pour 3 and a pour 4, but I'm gonna get started digging there first, because that one's gonna take the most mental brain power. And so while we have the most energy, we're gonna make sure we're doing it right versus when we're really tired. It's hard to believe that from one little baby hole like that, we get that much dirt. 1 down, 14 to go. And I don't know if my voice is gonna make it that long.
And in this corner, I believe I'm gonna have to do 2 sections as well, because I don't want to undermine the entire wall. This corner is not really tied together. I know it's not the best option labor-wise, but it's better to be on the cautious side. So we're gonna split this wall, basically this section in the middle, do 1 section, and then some other time down the road do another one.
I understand that no time has passed for you, but it is now 12 hours later for Roman and I. I got like 1.5 holes dug yesterday. Roman got 2.5 holes dug yesterday. So today we are going to try to get at least 1.5 more on my end and 2.5 more on Roman's end. And then hopefully we will be one step closer to getting this soil out of here and then being able to get these last pieces poured. Roman and I just made a switch. I've been digging in that hole for the last 3 hours, and I've literally just got that little pile out. I've got like 6 inches further back than I was yesterday. You have no leverage in there. All the rebar's in the way, the concrete's in the way. You can't really get tools in there. Roman wanted to give it a try because I have another 6 inches to go, and so he's giving her a go. And what do you think so far, Roman?
It's gonna be slow.
So I wasn't fibbing.
No, but I don't know if it would take 3 hours to dig.
So we're gonna get started on a new hole while Roman has fun on my hole. Thank you, Roman.
Every day it's getting harder and harder because your muscles getting more and more fatigued without being rehabilitated. That's the word. But we're getting there. I think the hardest parts of digging are done. Like I'm done in this corner finally. That was the hardest because you have to reach throughout the rebar on the opposite side in the corner. Now I have this little section to dig. We'll be done in this big room, and then all we have to do is move and dig 3 holes, I think, in the laundry room. It is quite challenging, not gonna lie, but it's also not so bad. Good news, this hole is completely done. Okay, let's pick up our tool and move on to the next one.
Inspector Roman, how does it look?
You got it good. There's a little sloughing here, needs to be cleaned off, so there's contact cement.
No, I'm under the concrete right there. You just undermined it. Now you just jeopardized the whole integrity of the foundation.
True. I think someone did do a good job digging on that side, so your other hole is like that. Good job, Cole. Good job.
It feels so good to get that hole done. I've been working on that bad guy for 5 hours, and it has felt like every bit of 5 hours.
Here, there is another one for you. Let's go.
Hold on, I'm resting, Roman. I'm resting.
You can lay down in front of that. Let's go. I'm gonna arm wrestle you to that hole.
Roman and I are now on our last 2 holes. Roman's got that one right there, and then I've got one over here. Then we are going to be ready to pour. Well, once we get the rebar in, but we gotta get these first 2 holes. And I'm hoping now that these ones are bigger, this is gonna be a lot faster for me, because I've been in all the weird tight little corners and spots where you can't really get a full-size shovel in there. And it definitely takes longer when you're chipping something out a dime at a time versus a half of a shovel full. So we'll see how these go. To sugarcoat it in the lightest. Roman and I are getting tired of digging. Justin got tired of digging a long time ago. That's why he hasn't shown up for this last dig here. No, I'm just kidding. Justin had another job that he had to go to, but Roman and I are getting tired of digging. We've been digging pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks, and today is the 3rd consecutive day of us digging and being half upside down inside of a hole. Luckily for us, the last hole, the easy hole that Roman gave me, is pretty much mostly sand. I have maybe 20 minutes left in that hole. Roman's got a little bit left in his hole, and then we will be ready to pour concrete. Now, we got a load of concrete in this morning, and somewhere there was a little bit of a miscommunication, because we were supposed to get 3 pallets of concrete with 56 bags on them, and we ended up getting 1 pallet of concrete with 56 bags on it. So I am running off to Menards right now to go pick up 3 more pallets, so that way we have an extra one, because we are going to have some extra pours that we're going to have to do once we get these ones done, and then we'll already have the concrete. So I'm on a little road trip, and it feels good to get out from digging those holes. Save big money at Menards. Just doing the casual, taking up 8 parking spots. Well, it's actually like 5, maybe 6 if I pull 5 if I pulled forward, 6 right now because I'm parking like a jerk. But there's plenty of room here. I'm fine. On our earlier pours in the basement, I ended up buying them out of all this. I must have got a reorder in. I did not know this was here. This was exciting. This is the pallet of stuff that we have at home. So we'll pick up this pallet. Now we'll have 2 pallets of it. But I'm not seeing any more of that. That's 6,500 pound mix. And after 28 days, it's 8,000, which is like, that concrete's gonna last us forever. But there should be a 5,000 pound mix here somewhere. I'm probably gonna have to grab 2 pallets of that because I am not seeing any more of that 6,500 one. Oh, here we go. 5,000 PSI concrete mix. Looks like we got 1 pallet, 2 pallet, 3 pallet. We're probably gonna take 2 of those. And then right across the aisle, we have our 6,500. So I think we found everything we need. Let's go get our little ticket, and then we'll pull around back over to there, and then we'll get loaded up. We made it out of the store. Now let's see if we can get everything figured out back here. And I always feel like I'm gonna smoke my mirror on this thing whenever I drive by it. But you gotta get close, otherwise you can't reach it. Okay, there we go. He was able to use a pusher thingy on the forklift and be able to push this one center over the axle. So we got those 2 loaded up there. We got a little bit of tongue weight going on with that one. So I think this is gonna work pretty good. Got everything strapped down and we're ready to go. See if I can make it out of here now without getting accused of stealing. Whew, we made it out. We did not get accused of stealing. And now we have an hour drive home, but I should probably stop to get some gas first. Oof. We are now full, and I did a little bit of math while we were here at the pump. We are averaging 12.1 miles per gallon.
Look who we have here. Justin is back. He made enough money to stay with us for another couple weeks. Yeah. So we're happy to have him back. How much money did you make, Justin?
Not enough. I had to come back.
We are almost done with our digs. We have that hole to dig up, maybe another 30 minutes, and this one here that cold didn't finish, and we'll be ready to cut the rebar, set it in, pour the concrete.
Delayed start helping Justin and Roman this morning. Dad needed some help on the farm, so I've been working with him for a little bit, but we got all that taken care of. Justin and Roman are putting rebar in. I'm going to unhook this trailer and leave this concrete here, and then I'm going to be running back to the rental store. I need to rent that concrete mixer and I need to rent that vibrator. Then I also need to go to Menards again because we need some stuff for the farm that I didn't know about last night that I could have got then, but luckily for us, rental store, not very far from Menards, so not the end of the world, but I got a little bit of road tripping.
Welcome to the rental store.
We're back again. Oh, look at this. We're trying something new today. We got the concrete mixer loaded up in the back. We are now on our trip over to Menards to get the stuff for Dad. While I was there at the store, Justin called and he said he also needs some more rebar. I guess they're 2 sticks short, so we're gonna have to get some more of that too. This is bad. I'm starting to recognize people here and know where everything is in the store. I'm making too many trips to Menards. 44 gallons of muriatic acid later and 12 4-foot pieces of rebar. We got what we need. I got everything loaded up and now I am on a little side quest. I guess my grandma Judy was in town and she went and filled her car up with gas and she thinks that she left her wallet at the gas station. So I'm gonna swing by that gas station and see if it's on the ground there. And then if it's not there, I'm gonna go to my grandma's house and I'm gonna look through her car and see if she accidentally dropped it between the seat or something. So hopefully we can find Grandma Judy's wallet for her. Grandma said she was at this pump number 7. Let's see if we see a wallet. I don't think she would have stuck it up there, but you never know. I'm not seeing a wallet. I went in, gave the lady behind the cash register my grandma's name and phone number just in case somebody does turn in a wallet. I have a suspicion it is in my grandma's car somewhere hiding. It just doesn't seem very grandma-like to drop something on the ground, but you never know. And the likelihood of somebody turning it in, if they did take it, is probably pretty low, but you never know. So we're leaving a phone number with the gas station. It'll make Grandma feel better. Ooh, man, Grandma might already have some help. Okay, let's see what we got to work with here. It's probably a black wallet. It's kind of dark in here right now. I'm gonna have to use my second hand. Okay, we need the full criminal report here, Grandma.
Yeah.
Who stole it from you? What did he or she look like?
He was handsome.
So you just gave it to him?
Yeah.
After doing a little bit of investigating in Grandma Judy's car, I did not find her wallet. So either she did lose her wallet at the gas station and somebody took it, or she lost it somewhere between the gas station and home, or she lost it at home, which if it's at home, she'll probably find it at some point. If it's the other two, it's probably gone. Now, good news is she just had a debit card in there and like her secondary social security card, she called it, and a little bit of cash. So she canceled her debit card and she's gonna have to get the other secondary social security number and maybe her Medicaid card, I believe, got lost. So not the end of the world. Hopefully she ends up finding it, but we tried and no dice. So now it is almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Justin and Roman are going to want to be leaving in 3 hours and we still need to pour all of our concrete. So here we go. We made it back. Now, when I got here, one of my friends is here. He works on construction sites. So we're gonna do a little prank on Justin and Roman.
You gotta investigate what you're doing here. I'm a building inspector. You got permits for this job you're doing? You know?
We'll go see how they act.
Hello.
Hello.
Building inspection.
Uh-oh.
You got permits?
How many permits do you have?
I got a whole pamphlet full.
Does any of them say your name on it?
Yep, sure.
Well, Justin and Roman must have seen right through that, but this is Dan. So a couple years ago, it was probably like 5 years ago now, we had an old John Deere tractor that was one of my grandpa's, and it was seized, so Dan took it and he got it started, and then he brings it to parades and fairs and all that kind of thing, and kind of shows it off and stuff. So every time he makes the pass over to his grandparents' house, he comes and stops by. So today he's making a trip, and unfortunately the prank didn't work too well, but I guess he said he's gonna help us huck some bags of concrete down the stairs, so we're gonna take the help. Oh, sorry, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No. I'm just, the average work day, just now,
Wait, you're on the clock right now?
gotta get going.
Big thank you to Dan. So Dan just had to leave, and I don't even know how to say this. So Dan's wife's sister was just diagnosed with cancer for the second time, stage 4, and they have a really young family, like my children's age, young babies. Some of their kids are a little older. But as you can imagine, and some of you have had experience with this, cancer is extremely taxing, not only on the body, but also financially. And so Dan asked me if I could share this. They are doing a fundraiser for his sister-in-law to help support their travels and medical stays and just overall expenses with everything that is going on. Now, Dan has done a lot for me. Dan has been a really good friend. He is an incredible human being. It just salt of the earth type of man. If you needed the shirt off of his back, he would give it to you. So he asked if I could share this, and I said, Dan, absolutely. So this is the fundraiser that they are doing for, her name is Josie, but I also have the link down in the description. You can scan the QR code if you would like to help support Josie and her family, or you can go down to the link in the description and you can support financially there as well. You absolutely no obligation, but if you have $1 that you could give, there's probably going to be a lot of people that watch this video, and if everybody gave $1, that would be absolutely life-changing for Josie and her family, and I know Dan would really appreciate it a lot. So I just wanted to throw this out there. Once again, no obligation on your guys' end. I just told Dan that I would share it because he asked me if I would. So, thank you. We have one more pallet on here, but we already have 3 down into the basement. That should be enough to get us done because we had a little bit of extra from the pour before down there already too. So I guess if we need more, we have more sitting right here. We are gonna have a couple little areas we need to get patched in once everything gets done that we will definitely use this for. But if we don't need it for right now, it's getting kind of late in the afternoon. Justin and Roman are gonna wanna leave here pretty soon. So the more help I can have with this concrete before they leave, the better. I'm gonna grab a drink of water. I was sitting upstairs resting and getting a drink of water. Why are you guys not getting started?
We are. Roman's slow. I keep telling him, turn it on.
See? It's on.
Turn it on. Here's your bucket. Bucket.
Water coming out?
Bucket. Bucket.
Oh, you gotta
This one, wait.
put it like this, Justin.
Bucket. Bucket.
There.
I don't see anything.
So while I was at the rental store, I told them that I wanted... Oh man, it's starting to rain. Okay. Anyway, I gotta get that put away here in a second. But I told them I wanted this big vibrator, and they're like, hey, we have this little handheld one that we'd really like to try. So we're just gonna give you both of them. We'll just charge you for one, but we really wanna see how this works. So we're gonna be trying this little one today. So I'm hoping we don't have to get that big one out because that's a lot more to clean than this one is. So we're gonna give it a try. I'm gonna grab that telehandler and put this pallet inside the shed. Merwin, what do you think?
Oh, vibrates.
The whole time I'm loading stuff up, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Get the concrete inside. And then, do you hear that outside? The answer is no, you don't, because it stopped raining. Oh well, good news is we don't have to worry about it. I got my concrete hat on now to keep the concrete dust from getting in my hair. I got some earplugs. I got a second pair for Roman. We're gonna get this concrete poured. Feel bad, I'm gonna have to leave Roman to finish out the rest of this pour, or he might have one or two left by the time I get back, but Dad Cooper just called. They're having some troubles on the farm, so technology troubles. I'm gonna go run out and help them. They got into some menus that they shouldn't have, or they popped up somehow and buttons got pressed, and anyway, I'm tech guy to the rescue, so Roman's gonna keep finishing those out, so sorry, Roman. After about 45 minutes, I think we got everything taken care of here. Look at this, Roman got all the tools and stuff cleaned up. We now have a nice clean shovel. We only used a mag float and a shovel. That concrete was already on that mag float from years ago, so not much we can do there now. But these tools are all clean. We got these things poured. Look at this. And there's a pile of dirt sitting right there, but that's poured all the way through. We pretty much just have a little sliver right here that we need to dig out. That still needs to be poured. And then over here on the other side of the basement, all of this is already poured. We just have piles of dirt sitting on top of it right now because we didn't have anywhere else to put it. Right underneath the jackhammer, there's potentially about a foot right in there. I think we need to dig underneath that, do that. Same thing on the other side of the wall. And then there's like a 5-foot section right here. I think we just kind of forgot about it, to be completely honest. But we'll probably split this one in half. So we'll probably do this one first. Next time we get started, then we'll just pour it right away. And then while we're digging out everything else, all these other little baby spots, then we'll probably end up digging out this one. And then we have one spot right there as well. And another spot over there. Holy cow, the more I'm walking, the more I'm finding. We got another spot over here at the bottom of the stairs that I completely forgot about. It looks like we got this corner. And oh yes, right on top of us there's a big post that comes down that helps support the upstairs ceiling. That transfers into this wall. So underneath where all these tools are right here, we're also going to have a spot. Man, and just when I thought that we were on our last pour, come to find out we basically have one more, but we are getting so close now. The bulk of the absolute hardest stuff is done. We are on the downhill slide now. I think the last thing that we need to do now, Roman basically got this all washed up, got all that cleaned up on the inside, but we just kind of have like this little bit of concrete dust that's making this thing look a little bit grungy. I'm gonna bring this down to the main heated shop, and I'm gonna hit everything with the power washer, and then we're gonna get it really good, and then also make it basically look like it's new again. I am also pleased to report we did not have to use this big pencil vibrator. We were able to use the handheld one, which, if you're curious, it literally did the exact same job. Honestly, just as good, if not better, and it was way more maneuverable around. So if you're in the market or looking to rent one, if you're not trying to stick something down 15 feet down into a wall, I'd recommend the handheld one. We didn't even go through a whole battery either, so and that's honestly probably what I would get again. But I ordered one like a month ago, but it hasn't came in, so I was forced to rent, which we're going to be pouring more concrete later, so we'll still use it, but it makes me feel better about the handheld one. Look at that, she looks good as new. We got her all clean, we got it all strapped down. This is ready to go back to the rental store in the morning. Now I am tired, I'm hungry, I'm ready to hop in the shower, eat, and go to bed. We had a really good day today. We got a ton of stuff done. We are one step closer to getting done with the basement stuff, which is one step closer to getting done with the entire house. So this is all I got for today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.